You won't find a more successful YouTuber than MrBeast, but the man known for giving money away at the drop of a hat has also faced down some serious roadblocks over the course of his rise to fame. Longtime MrBeast fans know that the only thing the creator cares about more than making YouTube videos is taking care of his family. Viewers have gotten to know a decent amount about Jimmy Donaldson's family, particularly his mom Sue Parisher, over the years. But there's always been one missing piece of the picture: his dad. This is a mystery that's bothered fans for a long time, especially because MrBeast himself doesn't talk about his dad very much at all.
Why don't you talk about your father much?
Don't worry about it.
MrBeast's father left the family when he was very young, but that may have been for the better. MrBeast's mom is a co-author of a book called Rock Bottom and Faithless: Defeating the Lies of Domestic Abuse, in which she shares her personal journey surviving domestic abuse. While fans are definitely still curious, these details make it much easier to see why MrBeast avoids talking about his dad when the topic comes up in interviews. Parisher raised Jimmy and his brother CJ as a single parent, which was already hard enough, but the 2008 housing market crash made things much worse, and she suddenly found herself needing to work all the time. When MrBeast's mom did have time to be at home, the two of them butted heads constantly. On the Diary of a CEO, MrBeast said he would routinely fight with his mom over making YouTube videos instead of finishing his homework.
She comes home and she just has this brat that's being annoying and like, I want to be a YouTuber.
MrBeast's mom thought there was no future for him on YouTube. That was obviously not the case, and thankfully their relationship is better these days. MrBeast quipped that by the time he was able to film a video of himself giving his mom $100,000, she was fully on board with his career choice. Young Jimmy Donaldson's childhood dreams of being a YouTuber didn't just make his home life difficult, it made fitting in with his peers at school a hard time too. MrBeast explained that he has a childhood memory of a high schooler making fun of him for always talking about YouTube. After that, he tried getting excited about the same thing as his classmates, but it didn't work, and he told the Diary of a CEO that he just stopped talking altogether.
One of my teachers literally asked, like, if I was mute, like, because that's how little I spoke.
Of course, now that he's achieved his dreams, he says quite a bit more now to millions of people. Statistically speaking, virtually everyone either has been or knows someone who has been in a traffic accident or narrowly avoided one. Car safety is serious business because all it takes is one distracted driver to crumple 10,000 pounds of rubber and steel around fragile human bodies at over 100 miles per hour. That's why you aren't supposed to drive while drunk or tired. But what happens when someone drives while under the effects of an undiagnosed medical condition? MrBeast knows that horror all too well.
To explain what happened to him is his heart just stopped beating. It just literally stopped beating.
During an episode of Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, MrBeast recalled a harrowing drive after he and his crew wrapped up a shoot. They had traveled 8 hours to the site and were driving back when the guy behind the wheel, MrBeast didn't name names, suddenly asked to pull over into a gas station because he didn't feel too good. He didn't even make it that far because the next second, he seemingly fell asleep at the wheel. MrBeast did what he could to keep the car steady, slow it down, and wake up the driver, which is easier said than done on a busy highway. Well, MrBeast managed to park the car on the shoulder and save its passengers from a potentially untimely death. He later learned that his friend didn't pass out, but instead momentarily died during the event. Turns out they have a rare condition that makes their heart stop and then start up again, which means for those several tense seconds, a corpse was behind the wheel.
So by all metrics, he was literally dead, and there's a dead man driving the car.
Of course, MrBeast's friend now has a pacemaker to prevent future problems, but nobody knew he even had the affliction until after it almost killed them. When you're as popular as MrBeast, there's sure to be backlash, and plenty of people simply don't like him. Being in the vicinity of a few controversies over the past few years certainly hasn't helped matters. He seems to sidestep a lot of it, but there's one bit of internet hate that particularly rubs him the wrong way, it seems.
It's funny, the more good you do, the more people think you're secretly evil.
To be fair to the critics, Beast Games is a real-life recreation of Squid Game, and the creators are pretty obviously evil in that show.
Did you have fun playing the hero?
But having his motives constantly questioned gets exhausting for MrBeast, who has said in multiple interviews that there really is no ulterior motive behind his charity efforts. He just believes it's better for everyone if the videos he makes also allow him to do some good. Stories of celebrities who found success while fighting the challenges of a disability or disease have become common. Many YouTubers have discussed their ADD or depression, But not all problems that plague celebrities are psychological. It's surprisingly common to find celebrities with a physical disease that can leave them in severe pain if left unchecked. MrBeast is one of those people. The worst part, the disease that MrBeast suffers from has no cure.
I don't think there will ever be a cure during my lifetime. People have hopes about it, and I see all this talk about it. I personally don't think there'll be one, but someone can prove me wrong.
MrBeast suffers from Crohn's disease. For those who have never heard of it, Crohn's is an inflammatory bowel disease that can cause a host of digestive issues. While MrBeast can mitigate the stomach pain with a heavily regulated and unfortunately repetitive diet, he can't do much about the fatigue. But MrBeast also has to deal with the mental aspect of Crohn's as it negatively impacts his socializing. Whenever his friends go out to eat, he has to pack his own food if he wants to prevent a severe stomachache. While his friends get to dine on fine pizzas and chow mein, he often has to make do with homemade PB&J. Moreover, as most people with the disease will tell you, dealing with Crohn's isn't as simple as making sure you don't eat anything that upsets your stomach. Like many people with this condition, MrBeast needs to regularly take Remicade, which requires a 4-hour stay at a hospital every 5 weeks.
I'm in remission. I get Remicade every 5 weeks, and I take pills every Saturday. I'm on a really, really strict diet, and I feel normal.
MrBeast isn't joking when he says that he lives and breathes YouTube. On the Colin and Samir show in the summer of 2023, he said,
I don't have a life. I don't have work-life balance. My personality, my soul, my being is making the best videos possible, entertaining my fans as best as I can.
Donaldson added that he frequently suffered mental breakdowns from the stress of running his business. Prior to their engagement, his partner Tia Boyson shared that MrBeast's constant work and travel schedule would constantly put a strain on their relationship. MrBeast is rarely home and rarely doing anything except working, and he told Stephen Bartlett in 2024 that trying to prioritize his mental health is a real struggle.
If my mental health was a priority, I wouldn't be as successful as I am. And that's just a sad fact.
In 2019, MrBeast admitted on Twitter that he had dropped out of college, which left fans with a lot of questions. Did he flunk out or bail on his chosen major? Fast forward to his interview with Colin and Samir, and MrBeast revealed the full story.
So I go to college, it's community college. It's not that expensive, whatever. And I just couldn't stand it, man. It made me just so depressed.
Before MrBeast went to college, he fell in love with YouTube and decided to turn the site into his career. A cliched story, but that's what happened. His mother didn't think YouTube would pan out, so she gave him an ultimatum: go to college or move out. It might sound harsh, but she wanted what was best for him.
Jimmy, you go to college, you can stay in the bonus room upstairs. You drop out, you're out of the house.
So MrBeast did what many people would do and went to a community college for about 2 weeks. He couldn't stand the classes, but he didn't have it in him to break his mother's heart. So MrBeast kept up appearances by driving to college every day. But instead of going to classes, he spent his hours working on videos on his computer while parked on campus. Eventually, MrBeast made enough money from his videos to move out, so he broke the news to his mother and, keeping true to his promise, moved out the next day. His mother was initially devastated, but she eventually came around. At the very least, MrBeast gave higher education the old college try. He failed, but he failed on his own terms and turned it into success. Amazon Prime's Beast Games pitted 1,000 contestants against each other in a series of over-the-top challenges with a $5 million grand prize. The budget for Beast Games was reportedly upwards of $100 million, and even without knowing any behind-the-scenes details, you can see that money on screen. Beast Games features massive sets, like the opening episode's droppable towers and the scaled-down city that the contestants got to stay in. On top of that, the series had a ridiculously large production, setting the Guinness World Record for most cameras used in a single show. Amazon gave MrBeast a ton of money for the production, but he still ended up losing tens of millions of dollars because he put his own money to help fund the show's most elaborate games and prizes. He even told Diary of a CEO that he had been advised not to say what the final budget of the show turned out to be. MrBeast has a severe astigmatism that gives him terrible vision, but he didn't even notice a problem until people online started commenting about him having a weird smile. People sometimes say MrBeast doesn't smile with his eyes, and while replying to one such statement on X, MrBeast explained that he's seen the comment a lot. MrBeast eventually saw so many comments about his eyes that he decided to get them checked out. And that's when he discovered his astigmatism. He wrote, "Without contacts, I can't see unless I'm squinting, and that's why my eyes used to look off in photos when I smiled." MrBeast might not let every comment on the internet get to him, but he does try to stay somewhat in touch with what people are saying about him online, for his own health at the very least.
Okay, that didn't really work, so now we're just gonna do Coke versus Coke and pray I don't die.
YouTube is a monolithic site. An estimated 500 hours worth of content is uploaded every minute, so it is literally impossible to see everything the platform has to offer within one lifetime. To maximize the odds of viewers watching their videos, many content creators try to stand out with eye-catching and hyperbolic thumbnails. Many people make fun of these overblown images, but MrBeast went one step further and tried to recreate the impossible feats depicted in one series of memeable thumbnails. Unfortunately, he succeeded. In one of the few non-charity videos on MrBeast's main channel, he tried to see if he could damage anything, including himself, with a run-of-the-mill fidget spinner. He tried slicing open his cheek and neck with the toy, and he also tried to knock out a tooth with it, but the gadget failed to even scratch him. Later, MrBeast moved on to inanimate objects. He tried to destroy everything from wine glasses to giant college textbooks, but only a flimsy light bulb cracked under the fidget spinner. MrBeast even tried shattering a Coke bottle with the spinner, which ended exactly how you expect. For some reason, MrBeast really wanted to destroy some Coke, so he tapped two bottles together. Surprisingly, they shattered with enough force to slice his cheek. While the cut didn't hurt, judging by his reaction, MrBeast still needed stitches to close the wound.
Whoa! Oh, shoot.
Let MrBeast serve as a warning, don't mess around with Coke bottles. Sprite bottles probably aren't safe either.